There are times I know it can be hard to get up and go. You can always count on those beside you. When you're far from home, it can be hard to go alone. Bring a friend. Oh, bring a friend. When you're on that road, you can share your heavy load. Every day can be a new adventure. When you're far from home, it can be scary to go alone. Bring a friend. Oh, bring a friend. Leave out of me question.
Hey there, welcome back LU cuties. This week we have another great episode of the League of Ultimate Questing Battle Axis. This is episode 116, Somnium. How's everyone doing this fine week, this fine Monday, this fine 9/11? I didn't think that through, but my day's been pretty good. It's been actually... I'm exhausted, but I feel like I've been really productive. It's been a while since I worked like a 9 to 5, but got together with the leadership team over at TPK today, including the new managers that we hired, and just like made a battle plan for everything up to our opening and then some. So it was tiring, but yeah, it's good. It's good, and it's great to see all of you. I also, one of the things that I needed to do was work on a player guide for our in-house campaign, and I thought it was due today, which is to say I'm in a good spot to finish it, kind of midweek this week, because I'm always behind on things. But surprise, it's not due until like the end of next week, so I'm actually doing really good. But yeah, super excited for this episode. I've been looking forward to it. I said that in chat earlier. It's the only reason I'm saying something. It's not really a surprise. You can tell kind of where it ended last time that there's a few cliffhangers to resolve. There's some fun questions to be answered here. But I've been looking forward to this one. Very excited. And yeah, thank you. It's definitely always a good position to be in. It's hard to actually like trick the ADHD into believing that the deadline is sooner than it is, but I had it totally wrong. Which is to say, almost all of the text is written. Now I just need to iron down some of the character options and things, and I'm actually looking forward to doing that this week then. Just in terms of some of Volruvina's kind of original like ancestries and things like that. It's anyway, it's not important. That's just all I know is my life at TPK. And it's funny because someone actually just like yesterday, I think yesterday, like posted on Reddit like the first article about us, which someone posted on Reddit like a year ago, but someone just did it, and so it's like all these fresh comments, and people on Reddit are so skeptical of things, and they're such downers, and this was true of the last time it was posted too, but it's kind of funny to read through. Yeah, it's not like totally negative, it's just kind of like vaguely vaguely negative. And but in like I said, skeptical way. But then it's also a little reassuring because like other people come in, they're like, well, someone's like, oh, how could this work? This is really strange. And someone else is like, well, it worked for like game night. And it's like, yeah, and and some other things. And that DNA is also with us. And a lot of that experience as carried over through various people. Anyway, I'm only airing it out here because there's no point in actually responding to them. They'll see when we open. They'll see. The other thing is people are just like, I don't know how this business could sustain itself. I don't see how it could stay in the black. And it's like, it's not. People seem to keep thinking of it as like a gaming business where we also sell beer. No, we're a beer business where we also run games. Like we'll stay in business like any other brewery, and hopefully the gaming will get people in to get more beer. Like we're not, the gaming's not the main business. The gaming is the draw. Like the gaming is the loss leader. Anyway, people don't get it. I think in the long run, hopefully we're proved right. That said, I've gone off on all of my things for 6 minutes now and haven't actually been talking about luck things. So let's get to the episode and then stick around because I'll be back and let's talk luck afterwards. I'd love to do that.
Crom is defeated, but many unanswered questions still lie ahead.
Like who gets this sick crib? Are you seeing these stained glass windows? Does plural domination work on divorce rules or poker rules? Questions like what's he gonna do with his soul, dummy?
Gaspar is an iterative plural. That means his soul is forever split between two vessels. He can merge with his other half, eliminating him as a threat, but he'll never be truly whole again.
One thing is for certain. Gaspar's journey does not end here. He, along with the rest of the Fallow Crown, have been tasked with the responsibility of dealing with the Darkwood threat. Gaspar may choose to remain in Plex, but he would be forced to keep Crom alive and send him with the Crown. But beyond that is the greater question. What will happen to Plex if Gaspar should choose any fate which leaves this domain unattended?
Ownership in the domains of Abel is constantly shifting. If left unattended or unclaimed for any significant period of time, ownership could be snatched from the negligent host.
So what? Abel works on squatters' rights? He can't just find his keepers a gajillion souls.
I am ashamed to admit it, but in the eyes of most pluralities, the lives and souls of mortals are incidental to the purchase of more, meaningful property.
I'm so glad I was forced to join this super cool club of slavers, psychos, and brother humpers.
Don't look at me. I got out of that game for a reason.
In any case, Gaspar's choices are his own, and their consequences will be far-reaching. For now, all we can do is watch, wait, and wonder.
Gaspar, your body lies beaten, your life's blood flowing in crimson streams across the marble floor. The choice is yours.
I reach towards the wound. I can feel the gravity of this fragmented soul, this force of attraction. My soul wants to be whole again. And so, at first, I will try and coax it from this other body.
As you reach out your hand, pink wisps begin to rise like steam from the open wound. But there is resistance.
Hal staggers over, heavily bloodied. Will, Gaspar, you seem to have yourself at your own mercy. What are you going to do?
I finally have a choice. If I take my soul back, all of this work, all of this progress will wilt and die. If I use him like I used Nepit, he would harvest the souls. He would power the magic here, and I would manage Plex. With what I've become, do I even deserve to lead these people? Things could stay the way they are. Seems better that way, no?
If you're asking me whether or not you should throw away your family to go back to a responsibility you've long since discarded, I don't think I have any good advice for you.
Wusha, leaning in toward you, says, "We've come a long way and pulled a hard line to get this catch. Be ashamed to throw it back. I seen you struggle time and time again to put yourself back together. It seems that the answer's obvious, but I ain't lived your life. I say do what you need, but if you're real to ask me, I'd say make what's whole again."
Yes, this is not the time to lose conviction. This was my desire. But this, what has become of Plex, what I thought was a far-fetched vision, seems a waste to throw away. But this is not my vision. Our future should not be corrupted by the Darkwood. The death of intention and meaning is not a price worth paying for. Every decision I've made has been with incomplete senses. I will reach out a hand towards the wound on Crom. Then, with as much control, using my other hand, pull out my fragmented wisp from my own body and attempt to guide it into Gaspar's true body.
Please roll me a charisma saving throw.
Blessed?
You have a +2 from Hal's aura.
With a +2 from Hal's aura, that is an 18.
As your spirit merges with Crom, your eyes open for the first time in a long time. And from the wound, a small bead of gold is pressed to clatter on the ground.
Being able to see through my own eyes for the first time is cut short as tears well up in my eyes, blinding me. My face winces with guilt as I now can truly realize the weight of everything that I've done.
As you look at your hands, these hands who have wrought so much death and destruction, one clad in leather, the other in gold, you realize you still owe a debt to something.
Just the first of many debts to finally repay. With this contract between Gaspar and this god of greed, I'm going to kneel down towards Ahona's body and grab the hand in a firm handshake. With that, the golden arm unravels like thread and begins wrapping around Ahona's hand, then up the wrist, further and further until there's no more gilding on my hand.
At this, a piece of parchment manifests between the two of you, shrouded in pink mist.
I told you would get a percentage of everything that I gained.
Words begin to spill across it in magenta ink. They change slightly with every word, rewriting, trying to find the correct format for the Flux contract.
You can have my vision, my dream. With that, the stained glass in the design of my eyes begins rearranging, shifting colors to an outstretched, golden open palm. This position could have never truly been mine. I'm just not made for it. However, I leave you to make good choices. Because if you don't, my talents lie in vengeance.
Green. At that, the final lines of the contract manifest.
Gaspar is going to place his fingertip on this Flux contract and begin signing his signature. As he crosses the T on Aleph Knot, sliding towards the side of the page, a line will develop on Ahona's neck. And when it is done, his head will fall into Gaspar's open hand.
The final line of the contract manifests. Head to be taken as collateral.
Ooh. Like that.
The body that was once Hahona turns, and without a word, marches toward the administrative offices. He has a lot of work to do.
Well, that's the loudest debt. But there's one much more important. One I don't think I can repay. Iavos.
Iavos has been absent from this transaction. And when your eyes scan the bank looking for him, you see he is collapsed to his knees in the middle of the battlefield, surrounded by destruction and blood, cradling something in his hands and weeping visibly.
I know I wanted this so bad. I know that every one of you was willing to sacrifice for me. But none of us should have sacrificed our whole selves. None of us should have sacrificed a daughter. You banished her to Evdaimonia. We were told that if she ever came back, she would not be allowed to leave.
I remember. Iavos stares into the eyes of Gaspar for the first time, holding his hands up, seeking answers. You can see he's cradling a broken pair of spectacles, soaked in blood, that fell from a decapitated head. What have I done, Gaspar? I had to make a choice. He unmade her before my eyes, and she would have killed us all. I know she's safe there, but will she ever be with us again?
The clatter of stones wakes you. The sun is shining bright in what was once the dark wood. Flowers sprout in the marshes where Wusha fell. And there, in front of the Darkwood Tower, Rhea, in plain clothes, hauls stone after stone from the ruin to be organized, sorted, and repurposed. The air flows into your mouth, down your throat, and into your lungs. Your head is firmly in place.
Parafthara's hands immediately fly to her neck, feeling all around for injuries.
There is a thick scar where you were decapitated.
I guess I'm a choker girl now.
Rhea takes no notice.
Rhea?
Sweat beads and falls from her brow where rests the moonstone from which she takes her name.
How did you get here? Wait, how did I get here?
The same way everyone gets to heaven. Sacrifice.
Realization dawns on her face, followed by sadness. Is Papa here?
No, and he will not be. His soul lies elsewhere.
What do you mean he'll never be here? I can't have seen him for the last time.
You made your choices, and so did he.
Everyone keeps telling me that I either have a choice or I have no choice. Which is it?
You have made few by virtue of your exposure to people who loved you. And they led you here. Countless souls come here, never to see their families and their loved ones again. They do not have a choice. Why should you? She continues, moving stones.
What kind of an answer is that? I'm so dumb. Here, I thought I had a choice, but I'm the same as all of them. Every single time any of us is on the brink of any kind of self-discovery or growth, somebody comes along and tells us we're special or gives us a new power or a new body, and then all of us just go and become reckless and get put in our place. I'm not special. It happened to Penny Farthing, it happened to Pentecost, and now me. She stands. Well, I don't want to be Parafthra or Kra. I don't want to be plural.
You never had a choice, my dear sister. That is your first.
The best version of me isn't Penny Piper uncorrupted. And now maybe Nellie Isadora can make that choice.
From your breast, the golden wisp of a soul. But unlike those of the mortals you have witnessed, whose fires seem so fragile and so warm, or the servants of the Darkwood, whose shape and form were solid, cold, and unyielding, yours is a translucent fractal, reminiscent of antlers, coiling in upon a golden core. As it rises into the air above you, it begins to take on matter, until Parathra is born. Her great antlers form the suggestion of a circle. Their points and contours seem to flow ever inward, an abstract of branching paths splitting and cascading, each junction a choice, each point an untimely demise. Yet the central curves flow on. A story without end, a life without death, eyes of pure gold, dripping black tears which fade into nothing. All lives that end are echoes, intentions shouted into the dark, fading with every reflection until only an idea remains. You are an echo of me. Pray you do not lose your meaning. She waves her hand, and Penelope Isadora returns to her fate, as Parathra, goddess of innocence and corruption, choice and failure, begins her cruel work in vain.
Nellie Isadora has returned to Abel, born anew in human form, a singular with all the joy, pain, love, and sorrow that entails, to say nothing of the burden of choice that now rests upon her crownless head. How you holding up, Dirk?
My little heart can't take it. It's so precious.
It is truly heartwarming to see the Isadora family made whole.
This is a mess.
Sarge, we talked about keeping harsh thoughts to ourselves.
You talked. I was trying not to tell you that you had a glob of lithium grease stuck to your jaw hinge. But seriously, you don't think this is just absolutely bonkers? We take for granted that these heroes, these gods among mortals, jackknife between life and death, take a new form and new soul every roll of the dice of fate. It's easy to lose sight of what's normal. It's easy to forget that this is not what life is. Life, the thing whose existence is being threatened right now, is humble and fragile. For so many of our viewers, life is a struggle. Struggle against the mundane and banal forces of the world that is indifferent to them. Fate doesn't intervene on their behalf just before the buzzer. They're lucky if they get one chance in a lifetime to change the hand they've been dealt. They get one shot full of choices and consequences with no do-overs. All the marbles, every time they roll the die. That's why I devoted my life to strength. Let me tell you, my strength doesn't lie in these rippling jaw openers. My strength is in my heart. And it takes heart to choose a better life. That's why the Iron Church is offering a
you've
limited
got to
time
be fucking
80%
kidding.
discount
Now?
for new
You're
members.
doing this now?
Heroism is more than just power. It's willpower. Take control of your life at the Iron Church.
Not the time, Sarge. God!
This fungus thing really tanked our stats for the quarter, guys. I gotta do something. Self-fulfillment awaits at the Lat Tower of Inner Balance, the rowing machine of moral focus. Walk along the weight racks eternal, sharing the communion of whey protein and maybe a spoonful of peanut butter just as a treat. Be baptized in the sacred sauna of, okay, well, it's just a normal sauna, but it's super nice. Truth, inner focus, faith, and gains await you. In nomine squatre, et pulli, et liftis strengthum.
It's my friend Questly. That's me. Today's an adventure. Yippee! Going live on tour, it's your kid's favorite adventuring teacher, my friend Questly, featuring all your favorite characters from the show, with classic songs like If you're walking in a dungeon and you think you see a trap, don't you go any further, just clap, clap, clap.
Questly. I heard you clapping. What's wrong?
Boy, I think I see a trap up ahead, Robert Rogue.
Ah, that's okay, Questly. I'll take care of it. Thanks for letting me know. With a clap.
And not to mention the hit single.
D4 looks like a pyramid. D6 looks like a cube. D8 looks like a pointy old diamond, and the D10 comes in sets of 2. The D12 looks like a stop sign that ate a bit too much cake. And the D20 looks like a magical ball with which all your checks you'll make. And that's why we sing the polyhedral song. We all have a special gift, some quick, some smart, some strong. That's why we do polyhedral dance, taking fate into our hands. Every dream has a chance.
My Friend Questly, Adventure is Fun Tour, coming to a town near you. Get tickets today.
Hey, all you cuties! Did you know the largest snowflake ever recorded fell in Montana and was over 15 inches wide? That's the size of a pizza! I know I keep talking about it, but the end of Season 2 is getting closer every day, and the pressure increases for all of us here at Slapdash. We've got a ton of stuff happening in the next month, including Rose City Comic-Con, recording new projects, Zach's wedding, of course, and just several life changes for many cast members. So we don't know exactly what the future holds. We're gonna keep trying to make episodes happen. Hashtag every fucking Monday. The very, very best way to support the show is with Patreon. You get a ton of great bonus content, including maps, magic items, monsters, and more, and access to the bonus content channel on Discord, where we get a bunch of great bloopers and cutting room floor gems. Our current legendary mid-roll teams are the Titans Rise, the Twilight Concord, and the Ceaseless Horde, and of course this week's featured team, the Forgotten Legacy, with Chance and username Already Taco. To get a personal message read on the show or for possible advertising opportunities, reach out to admin@slap-studios.com, or if you need to mail us something, it's 2511 Southeast Pine Street, Portland, Oregon 97214. No homemade food, pretty please. We'd love it if you followed our YouTube channel so you can follow and catch up with all the live streams that we put out every Monday night hosted by Dana, and of course the return of the upcoming Sword and Shield Hardcore Nuzlocke. And of course, lastly, we'd love to see you join the Discord and say hi. We're getting new people every day and it warms our hearts. And if you're caught up, you can join us for a live stream. It's a wonderful community and you deserve to be part of it. Well, that's enough out of me. Let's get you back to the battle axes. I'm up here, but I need to get down there. If I just jump down, I'll surely break my knees, ankles, and butt. If only I had some rope. Do you know what that sound is? It's the answer to all your problems. Whenever you're out and about and need to get up or down, you need to get your hands on some rope. Well, now it's never been easier. This is the rope whistle. One little toot will provide you with all the rope you need to get into or out of any hole. Just pull it out, hold it up, lick your lips, and blow it as hard as you can, and it'll blast rope everywhere. Look at all this rope. Thanks, rope whistle. Why does it smell kinda salty, like pancake batter? Never you mind. Just blow if you want more. Blow as hard as you can. It's rope whistle. A chord for a chord. Blow yours today.
Small hands wrap around ancient weathered fingers, but they are not the ones you recognize.
The young woman who kneels before Iavos looks familiar, yet different. Her eyes, no longer golden, are a warm honey brown. And the freckles that dust her cheekbones, nose, and shoulders are not white like the dappled sunlight in the forest, but dark and rest plainly upon her skin. As your eyes cross over her features, she does look like the Nellie Isadora you knew, but she also looks a bit like her father. Most striking, as you realize that she no longer has the antlers you remember. nor the long ears, nor the hooves. And you look upon your human daughter, Nellie Isadora.
Taking your hands and rising to his feet and pulling you up, he drops the spectacles to the ground and crushes them under his foot as he wraps you in a tight hug. Pulling back, he looks you up and down, in his dream-spun eyes looking into your mind and soul, realizing what has happened.
I made a choice, Papa. I couldn't leave you.
You did. You made a choice that no one can take from you, no God can doubt. I'm so sorry.
No, don't be sorry. I'm the first Nellie. And I make my own choices now.
Yes. Yes, you do.
As you say the words, your soul burns with the fire of choice and opportunity, and you are crippled by it. Thousands of possibilities, opportunities, ideas, everything spills out from you, and the desire to do is crushed under the weight of everything that can be done, that should be done, that must be done. A guilt rises up in your throat like you've never felt before, that you only ever pantomimed before. But with it is love and hope and every other sweet thing that you wrote poems about and only distantly understood.
Part of me was afraid that if I became like this, I wouldn't be able to feel your love anymore. But I can.
That's what it means to be mortal. Being able to feel the chaos in her mind. Avos holds her close to give her strength. It's terrifying and beautiful. I thought maybe you'd be safe if I sent you away. But the gods damn me, I'm so glad you're back.
Her arms wrap around you and pull in close. Her gown of gossamer and wildflowers no longer looks like the raiment of a goddess, but a costume as the petals wilt onto the floor.
It seems I've broken your glasses. That's okay, we'll get you some new ones.
It's okay. Those were never mine.
You realize that in their absence, and in the absence of the plural soul to which you have become so accustomed, you can still feel your father's mind and everything inside. You at will can choose to use his spells instead of yours.
Sick.
That's pretty tasty.
You have lost no connection to your laurel and lyre. You can still feel eudaimonia in your soul, but you are no longer a part of it.
I'll always remember the stories.
You can dream of it now. I'll guide you.
I've never dreamed before.
That's not true. You have dreamt before. And I brought it to existence. I'm so sorry.
Gaspar. You're whole too. Bare feet launch her across the stone floor, but she loses her footing on the third step and tumbles onto you, her arms wrapping around your shoulders.
We are both whole.
How do ankles?
You look at me like, I can feel every pebble. Feet suck.
I'm going to have to learn to dance again.
Sneaking around is going to be so much easier now.
Do feet always feel so dirty?
Now you see why we all wear shoes.
I get to wear shoes.
They're going to be so cute.
Hal picks Hahona's head up, looks into the face of his oldest friend, waves a hand, and casts gentle repose on the remains, slowly lowering his own face to plant a kiss on the forehead. I'm sorry, my friend. You've suffered so much more than you ever signed up for. One day I'll make sure you can actually rest.
Wusha walks over to where Nellie and Gaspar are hugging and puts a big hand on both of their backs and says, Nellie, is that you?
It is.
You look great. Who'd that used to be?
No, it's new. It's me.
Are you fucking kidding me? That's unfair. That's not a time to be mad about it. I'm glad you're back.
At that, the chime of a bell is heard, echoing across the marble floor.
Iavos dusts himself off and reaches into his robes and pull out the bell of the thirdborn. We have much to discuss and new things to discover together, but there is a task at hand we can no longer evade. We must follow the sound of this bell to the gates of death and beyond.
Iavos, as you look at the space, you realize it is just large enough to do what must be done. Meanwhile, the rest of you are collecting the things that you have accumulated on your journey, taking the inventory of an adventure that feels like a lifetime, and adding to it the new things you have acquired here in Abel.
All right, my dear friends. There's not much room, but prepare to make yourself comfortable for just a moment. Iavos sits on the ground with his legs crossed and gestures for you all to do the same.
Wusha, knowing that if he's left in that position, he will tumble back, make sure to have a wall against him.
We have no time for aether ships and ring gates. We must step directly where we are needed. Close your eyes. Remember the Black Gate. Remember the smell of the farm air and decay, the music of the dancing dead. And join me in the astrum. Your bodies are overcome with a warmth as you slump into a deep, weighted sleep.
In the deep black of dream, the void of sleep is divided. A thin, colorless line bisects the infinite. As you gaze upon the tower, light creeps in from the periphery. Wisps like flowing rivers reach out from a circle of etheric chaos to the fault line that runs through all things. The axis, from and around which your fate spins. Somewhere between the aether wastes and the tower lies the pale bastion. Yet your primitive dream weaving cannot penetrate the astral desert that is the inner real of error. As your heart begins to despair, a light can be seen at the cusp of the aether wastes. A familiar glow, a guiding light, a beacon to follow, a compass to guide you, a voice in the darkness. Rest now, weary traveler. The dark recedes. I shall take the long watch.
What weakness of will would summon me from the death of sleep? The Scion approaches, High Counselor. I beseech thee, do not impede him. Bite what remains of your tongue. High Counselor, please, you have the wrong of it. The true death shall come for us all in time. It is hubris most foul to suggest that one might hold death to schedule. Do you mock me, Wanderer? Your farcical parade of mourners bloat our cemeteries with each passing cycle. Who are you to question the wisdom of the pale omen?
The coffins burst with oracles and soothsayers, but it is how we each read the bones that dictates our cause. After all, we are all equal in death. You and your council serve at the pleasure of the endless dead. Do well to remember that. And what would you have us do, O wisest and wittiest of the vagabonds? What we have always done, my liege. Wait in grave silence for the end. It will come for us all. What's the hurry?
New spell. Oof.
You spell who did?
What an episode.
Flavor.
That one was fun.
Yeah. How dare y'all make me cry? You are the worst. I'm the only one who gets to make me cry.
Nothing sadder than crying in a bank.
Oh,
Hashtag relatable.
getting childhood flashbacks on that one.
Oh boy.
Nobody makes me cry my own tears.
Nobody.
When you were describing like, Law, when you were describing like, close your eyes, think of the dirt, think of the whatever, I was like,
Think of the dirt. That's what I said.
Smell that
listen,
tree.
I'm paraphrasing.
Sniff my sod.
I was thinking like, Wuxia wasn't there. What dirt? What's the closest thing to grave dirt he can think of? It's just filthy sand. Think of the dead sand. Let's go.
Just Washington Coast sand.
Thick with jellyfish remains.
Oh, hell yeah.
I
You
didn't
mean
want to
fucking
like
dessert?
hint at the fact that you weren't there because people don't need to think about that right now.
That's not
That's
important.
fair. Yeah. no,
You've
definitely why I
you've
didn't
watched
make
the
time
Scry.
for it.
We'll just
Yeah,
point it
yeah.
out in the outro. It's fine.
There you go.
We've used the outro to cover things like that before, right?
Looks like we went to a bank and all went through withdrawals.
Oh my.
I put cool dream description. That's all I just said.
Dope ass sleep vision.
Mm-hmm.
Hal has a picture of where we're going. I could have showed you, but
Let's go around the table, and this time I think we'll start with Law.
Okay. We've been doing that and it throws me for a loop, but I like it. I like to be thrown.
I'm trying to like switch back and
Oh,
forth.
yeah. You should.
Start in the middle sometimes.
There you go.
So we're doing Favy Momos. I don't fucking know. This was just a really sad, emotional episode. Just like a
Favy
lot
and
of
Momo.
Favy E-Momo. E-Momo. God, I mean, getting to just really fucking whole hog the father-daughter relationship emotion.
Hey, I'm sure there's a better way to say that.
You know,
Nope. Fucking put it in stone. Print it.
people have been saying whole hog since before we joked about it being dicks. It's grandfathered in.
How dare you?
All right.
No, I mean, it's fun to act real sad and then weepy and say beautiful things about tragic fates intertwining and people changing their lives forever on a spur of the moment decision.
Yeah. Heavy shit. Dana?
I mean, my real answer is Gaspar, everything. But what I would like to talk about is I'm so happy that Nellie's journey kind of ended at this point on this episode, because I always wanted it to go in this direction. But when we were standing in front of intention and inquiry. It didn't feel like she had quite gotten there yet, so I wasn't ready to make that move. But then it just kind of fell into place with, really, it's just me being dumb as a player and always making the same mistake. But she, not having that perspective, was able to just draw this much bigger conclusion from it and finally have this kind of epiphany by herself on camera, which I really enjoyed.
You got a free true resurrection and a free true polymorph. Hot
Thank
damn.
you. I'm going to enjoy my
We
feet.
just call that reincarnate. Well, I think there's a lot of like interesting weight to the idea that the whole time Penny is like, oh, stranger from a strange land, learning what it's like kind of to be immortal, but not actually really. And now, like in the end game, like actually learning what it means and it's not just pretending.
I also like
You can't take all the favorite momos.
Yeah. No, but the opportunity to make her Iavos' biological daughter is very fun. I'm done.
It's magic.
I had a hard time picking. I think my favorite is probably the little callback to Penny's first dream. And Gaspar taking her head and her being all excited to dream and Iavos being like, I can show you how. And then Gaspar being there to be like, oh, you've dreamed before.
Yeah.
And it sucked hog.
No! Slurped the
Hogs all the way down.
While standing in the pool of her blood that's all over the floor from her decapitation. Like, that was a pretty good little flashback.
Well, Dana took like 2.5 of my favorite moments.
Oh, I mean, rehash them. Do it.
How dare? No,
mine
it's
was about
okay.
the
How dare you?
getting to
How
have the
dare you.
story, not about any specific aspect of it.
Honestly, all of this was basically one long scene. So
Yeah.
it's
You're not
hard.
wrong.
It's impossible not to overlap.
I do really like the Penny being like, fucking everybody's got to make my choices for me. I haven't had a fucking hand in this. No, fuck you. I'm so tired of this.
Just
And then
dropping the cosmic mic finally.
Yeah, being like, fuck all of this. But my favorite moment that is not a rehash was just the little visual of the stained glass turning from the eye to the hand. I thought that was
fantastic.
I almost said that for mine. I'm glad I didn't, because then Dana would have stole 2.5, and then I had stolen 1.
Well, it also calls back to how, like, some of the power that Gaspar was really trying to steal here was the ability to manipulate reality and change Abel. And that's just like, yum, yum.
It was fantastic.
Yum, yum, good.
Yum, yum. I think, just as a little appetizer, the Fave Momo, the description of Penny kind of, or Nellie going like, the antlers, the regalia fell off like felt like a costume, and then things began to wilt. It kind of was just, it was just Nellie for Halloween, you know?
Right. Went from cosmic to cosplay.
Yeah, like Nellie was in there the whole time, and everything just fell off like a costume. I think that was
Fucking excellent.
Yeah, pretty sad.
A
and cool.
really good metaphor. But and that's just the appetizer too. It's so good that like at the same time both of our kind of goals are accomplished, because you think, oh, Penelope gets the adventure, gets to choose between plural and singular, but it keeps on like going like.
Yeah, and we've always had that weird tension since the roof between our characters, and this one just had a lot of interesting symmetry between us.
I think even just like from the very beginning, right? Just waiting in line, it's you, a plural, trying to figure out, trying to like just taste what being a singular is. And then Gaspar, a singular who tasted what plurality looked like. And while our goals are specifically, not the same, we both kind of reach the same point. And it's like a holding hands, fighting, all for this synchronous finale of what our desires are. So
no pressure on Zach.
Good fucking like good duo.
My favorite moment isn't a moment. It's the fact that Gaspar going from undead nightmare to human or living being again, that you were bringing acting shit into that you've been holding back this entire fucking time. I heard the emotion, this like sense of sympathy, this sense of empathy, that like suddenly I hear the guilt in your voice. Whereas before you were this dead thing just kind of shuffling around, barely functional and like kind of empty inside. The fact that once you got your body back, there's all the emotion. That's where it was. It was trapped in something else.
Yeah.
And that was just like so fucking beautifully handled. And I like every time you did it, I was like, okay. I was worried it was a fluke the first time, and you were like kept doing it, and I'm like, yes.
Well, it's like every time I would speak as Gaspar, I'm like, okay, be hollow. I don't know. Yeah.
I have the post roll is a great time to clarify things. I have an interesting question for Gaspar.
Ooh.
So this whole time you've been collecting souls and feeding them to Crom, and you've now learned that he was turning that into an eco-structure of your home.
Yes.
Are you going to continue doing that to send money back to the bank to help your people? Is that where your souls are going to go? Like still like feeding the, now you're like, oh, they're going to a good cause. Let's keep doing this.
Yes, that is the intention.
I just figured it wouldn't come up, but like, I think it'd be fun to discuss.
Yeah.
Here.
And like the, 10% off the top for,
which is the
God
head.
of greed. Yeah. Just, it's like, well, guess I'll get along with a little capitalistic greed.
Yeah. I mean, as long as he keeps getting paid, he can do the job.
Gaspar lives in a society.
I wanted to react to some of that, but I was too busy being sad. Cryavos, if you will.
Yeah.
I had a good line that was going to be like, they've built something good here. It is already built. Killing the architect will not destroy the building. So I'd like to help motivate you to be like,
Unfortunately, that wasn't true, though, because if the second it gets into the hands of a plural, they can just change it. They can just undo it all with a wave of their hands. So it's like, oops.
It's kind of interesting having like a singular be the one who has control, or like the plural is in servitude to the singular, right? At least there's a contract.
Right. More just like proving
it's
like
a deal.
They did this once, they can do it again. Like it might take a lot of work and another power source or something, but it's possible.
I hate to be the one to tell you this. Actually, that's not true. I love to be the one to tell you this. You're not singular.
Oh, shit.
That rend cannot be repaired.
Not fair enough.
Yeah, you are still very much two souls, but you're two souls in the same body, and you get your body back.
Like a
So much
sandwich,
room for
a sandwich with two meats.
Yeah.
Eat fucking fresh.
Bologna and tuna.
Double decker.
Oh,
Pastrami
God.
on pastrami.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for listening and being a part of this. I fucking loved this episode. It was everything I needed it to be. I've been looking forward to this kind of resolution for so long that I wasn't sure if it would satisfy. And I love that you chose to keep your body. I love the idea of Gaspar running around in his original form. I stone cold thought you were going to be like, well, I'm just going to keep things the way they are. I guess I'll just keep being a soulless or a lifeless husk, whatever.
I was considering it.
Yeah, bold choice, and I'm fucking in love with it, and really becoming singular, and then Law with the feelings, so big, so good. Thank you all again for listening. I really want to thank Sam Hediger, the editor, for editing this episode. I want to thank Bree Golden for all of her work as our map maker, and I want to thank you, the listeners. I have gotten so much financial and emotional support for the wedding that's coming up. I can't describe how much it means to us. This episode should be airing, I think, the week of Rose City Comic Con and our wedding. So, yeah, it's coming down the pipeline, y'all, and I really don't even know what to say. So thank you again so much for everything you've done. And until next time, we wish you luck.
And I'm back. I'm glad I'm not the only one that's kind of bad at episode math. There have definitely been a few times where I've said in the outro, like, this should air the week of, and it's like a month ago, like when I said the book was coming out. It's like, that wasn't coming out. Anyway, after editing, this episode ended up kind of surprisingly short. But it's such a fun episode. I hope you all enjoyed just how juicy it was. And y'all finally got to meet human Nellie. And I'm Nellie, Iavos' human daughter. Yeah. Law was mentioning the length, earlier, as it's surprising if I mean, there's just a lot to trim down. I guess it felt longer when we did it. I know it took me a little bit on Eudaimonia to kind of get into the right place to do that scene, but yeah, fun fact, during that whole scene with Human Penny, Iavos, and then Gaspar at the end, like in that part of the episode, I was not crying, but I was teared up for that entire section. And actually I teared up listening back at it too, a minute ago. It's very, very fun little spot. Oh yeah, no, that's correct, Savedman. For the cast, that description, as she's holding onto Iavos, was the reveal that singular Nellie is human and no longer a fawn. And there was a bit of a reaction. I think people were also trying to be quiet and letting us have the moment and the stage, but folks definitely were surprised. I think Zach and Law, definitely Zach, maybe Law, because I think he was also there when we talked about it. But Zach was really the only one that really knew my plan for that, because we talked about it a little bit. There was kind of a long stretch in between the previous chapter and this chapter, this episode, and so there was quite a bit of time to kind of plan for that. Like when someone earlier asked, about the plan to go into the Astrum or whatever, and like Zach said, that I guess wouldn't have been a huge problem, but there's also we definitely had several weeks to kind of think, okay, well, she's banished, she's here, this is what's going on, how is this what's the next step in how this plays out. And I went to Zach and I said, hey, I think for these character reasons, with this realization, I think she's ready to finally like become singular, which is something that I've had. You know, I don't pre-prescribe things. Mostly my approach is to just have lots of ideas for places things could go, but I do try to keep my characters on some kind of an arc, and I've had in mind the possibility, even the likelihood of her becoming singular, since before the Wild Heart, back when Penny Farthing was kind of dealing with the idea of fracturing. Even though for a long time I thought it might just be something that happened, you know, at the very end in the epilogue or something, but I'm very, very happy with how it all played out and how I got to do it on screen. It's not suspicious at all. Yeah, I was thinking as I said that, I don't think we've done an outro since then where we like outro like I play this character. So I don't think I've said, you know, I play Nelly Isadora, the human bard sorcerer. Yeah, that second commercial, boy howdy. I like, once it got going, like I kind of saw where it was going, and I'm like, oh, I think Law mentioned this. And then as soon as it came to fruition, oh, it's a lot. It's a lot. It's very funny, but also very, very disturbing. Okay, yeah, that makes sense, Law. Because it was a pretty short conversation, but we had that conversation at Law's apartment, but Law was also in the other room cooking, so I wasn't sure if he heard or not. Oh, okay, so my understanding, I might be a little wrong here, Resh. My understanding is that Gaspar took his old body back, had the golden arm take over the other his previous body, in order to run like the bank, and then he took its head because it now serves him, and that's his shtick, because he's the Crom now, you know. I believe that's what happened, if that answers your question. Hahona, thank you. It is Hahona. I folks who go to RCCC, I never know how many C's, it's like banana, C, know that I usually wear something like a special outfit each year to our luck panel. This year, because I haven't been working for a year, and it's also kind of like late, I think I'm just going to wear my Penny Doodle dress from last year, and I'm not going to wear antlers or anything, just like the Penny Doodle dress, which I love very much. Which is, for anyone that doesn't know, it's just a white dress covered in like black like doodle fan arts that different fans have made of Penny. But this year's, what I was originally thinking of doing was making a custom shirt, that because I, you know, Barbie was very popular recently. I thought about making a shirt that said like I am Penuf. I also thought about making a shirt that had Wuxia in the Barbie font and said he's everything, she's just Pen. Those were my two ideas. I technically probably have enough things to cobble together a some kind of Penelope cosplay, now that I think about it. Like I have fawn legs, I have antlers and things, I have a laurel, I have a Greek dress. That seems like a lot, though. I'm probably just gonna wear the doodle dress. Penny Doodle Dandy. But yeah, I was just so excited about, like, I felt kind of bad, because I try to never be like a spotlight stealer. But it was like really like Gaspar's arc and Gaspar's episode, and just because of how things happened, I took like half of it. but it's cool. Like I said in the outro, I think it has some really cool, like, not just for her arc, but also her relationship with Gaspar, like some really interesting symmetry, like from the moment they had on the roof to now. Even though they haven't really talked about it, they've both been on this, you know, long kind of parallel adventure together, and they see that kind of kindred spirit in each other from like how they've both grown, and what they realized and what they, you know, in his case took back, or in her case, like, you know, making this choice. Like it's good. It all comes to fruition. It's great for those two characters. I wish I thought of that, Brandon. God, I wish I thought of that. That's very, very good. Damn. But I just, yeah, I love her. Pardon me for one moment. Oh yeah, somebody mentioned earlier, like, is she gonna miss having a tail? And boy, howdy, is being a human weird to her. That's what I'll say for now. I think it's good the way it is. I almost wish I had more time to just explore that for the comedy, but also I think everyone gets it, and we're ramping up into more serious stuff. But yeah, just being a human is very strange. Sure, I keep making jokes whenever we go out to bars. I almost want to just make like a master cut of not real, but like outtakes of just like things, like weird shit she says to the team now that she's human. Yeah, maybe something like that. We'll see. And then I've been thinking about my I want to get a Penelope tattoo after this season ends. Originally I thought it was going to be like an Art Nouveau kind of like arched window shape with like a Penelope in it. But then what I thought like a week or two ago that's kind of stayed in my brain is it might be cool to get like the tarot card, the Fool, but with, you know, Penelope in the kind of Rider Waite, you know, position. I'd probably still do it like Art Nouveau style, but it'd have like some of the same general composition and symbolism as that. I don't know what I'd replace the dog with. I might just remove the dog, but I think that would be kind of cool. So I'm going back and forth between those two ideas. Either way, it's probably going on this arm. Because I always kind of thought in the back of my head that, I don't know why I thought this, but I had an image in my head of Penelope being the Fool and Amelia being the Magician, and then I have a few other characters that I would fill in other places. Oh, I love the Hanged Man. My top 3 cards, in no particular order, are the Fool, the Magician, and the Hanged Man. Those are my favorites. A book with a tongue. Yeah, I'm gonna think about it a little longer. Yeah, because I think in either case you could really, like, there's room to add more characters on either side of it. So I'll have to, I don't know, I'll have to think about it. But I just wanted to share that with y'all, because I need more tattoos. What else? I'm mostly excited that I don't have to keep this secret anymore, because like that was juicy enough that I tried to like people that I'm usually a little loose with spoilers around, like my partner. I tried my best, my hardest to keep this one a secret. So I'm glad I can finally talk about human Nelly. What else? What else? Yeah, does anybody have any other comments or questions? I've talked about my character a lot. I'm happy to talk about other things. Update on the brewery. We kind of got our final, I don't know whether to call it an installation date or something else, but they're hooking up like all the lines and everything. It's the very last thing. That we have a date for it. It's happening this month, and we are going to open next month. Where we're just going to say like mid-October, but at this point, like it can't shift again. Like we're going to open like kind of early to mid-October, and I'm very excited for that. Nice. Magician and Star are solid picks. Main character from the Old Kingdom series. I'm not sure I know that one. Sun is good. Sun is very good. Oh my god, remove the dog and have it be the Invisible Hound. That's very funny. That's very funny. Yeah, for the depiction of her, I would probably base the depiction more on Penny Farthing, but it'd be a little bit between Penny and Nelly, I think. But yeah, for anyone that's waiting for that, it's pretty exciting. For anyone that backed our book and is going to be here, our book launch event is going to be on October 14th, and then we start running the Wayfarer's Chronicle the day after, which is also very exciting. But the book launch party, I'm looking forward to. I've been reaching out to lots and lots of people, but there's going to be like some live gaming as entertainment. We're going to run through the entire book. Originally, we're just going to run like the last chapter, which was like my chapter, the finale against the big boss. But then, because we're us, we're like, hey, why don't we just run a 13-hour event where we run the entire book? And that's what we're doing. But people be hopefully just like having a good time drinking, and we'll be gaming in the background. Various GMs, various players. I'm only in the last one. Yeah, Halloween will be good. I'm actually, one of the things I'm glad about is I made one of the, as we got closer, I made one of the adventures for Wayfarer's Chronicle kind of specifically meant to be like around Halloween, and it still falls around Halloween even with like the slight delay. So that's good. Nellie did not even think about collecting her own severed head. I don't think that's something that she feels like she needs. I think she's happy to have it where it goes. Bells are cool. Bells would be cool. I definitely want that. At some point, if we, stay open for a few years, I'm almost certainly going to get some TPK tattoos. I wouldn't mind, like I always wanted like a role-playing tattoo. Nelly kind of covers that, so I don't still feel like I need one, but I kept like going back and forth on what I wanted to do with that, because like I don't love the idea of doing like dice. Originally, I wanted like the dragon ampersand behind my ear in red, but now I just don't want anything that's D&D specific. So I'm still thinking about it. And then I kind of want to do some kind of video game tattoo on like my leg. Those are the current ones that I'm thinking about. Like some kind of retro tattoo. Maybe Secret of Mana, maybe Bubble Bobble. One of the franchises that was important to me growing up. Which both of those are examples of. Thank you. Let's see, what else? What else do I got? Other than that, I'm not exciting. All I have to talk about is either the podcast or the brewery, and y'all are caught up on the podcast. Yeah, I'm gonna... Like, there was a certain period of time where I was... Like, I agree with you about brand tattoos. There's a certain point in time where I was, like, kind of ready to relax that for D&D. And then with everything that's happened this year, just no way. Interesting. What drink from the brewery would be each character's choice? Which characters? The LUQ characters? Penelope would almost certainly, given the everything on the menu and not just the beer, she'd probably be more inclined to go for like maybe a pog shandy or something, some kind of shandy. I feel more than just a beer. The other characters, I'm not sure I can speak for. All of our drinks go down, way too smooth and are far too refreshing for someone like Vusha. We don't have anything in the ballpark of crunchy, rest assured. Yeah, I'm not sure about the other characters, but what drink is my drink of choice? So we always have rotating beers. One of my... And we've done just a shit ton of collaborations at this point. We're continuing to do collaborations. My favorite beer that we've made so far is no longer available, but it was a collaboration with Oregon City Brewing called Watermelon Spice and Nerdy Ass Dice. It was like a watermelon goza. And at the event we were serving it at, we were rimming the glasses with chamoy and tajin. That one's probably my favorite one that I've had, but of our core beers, of which there are 6, it's probably the Mexican lager. Which one is the... I think the Mexican lager is our Labyrinth lager, because it's made with corn, and so it's the Labyrinth lager, can you conquer the maze, is the... tagline, which I apologize for, but it's I'm a big fan of Mexican style lagers, and it's very good. That said, our most popular ones at the tasting, and we have changed things a little bit based on feedback, but our most popular 2 at the tasting were the Bard's Tale Pale Ale and the Ashbringer Stout, which is sort of a spiced stout with some like dark chocolate notes, like spice and dark chocolate notes. So it's kind of bitter, kind of spicy, kind of sweet. Like it's interesting. It's a very good, it's a very, very good stout. I've been drinking fewer dark beers as I've gotten more into beer drinking, just because they're these days they feel a little heavy. But growing up, I drank mostly dark beers. Thank you, Brie. I appreciate that. Yeah, and then the Bard's Tale Pale Ale is just it's a pale ale. It's crisp. It's refreshing. It's have you made a hot spicy beer? I don't think we have, but that'd be a lot of fun. it'd be a lot of fun to see it, Jacob. Definitely. If you're gonna put a lot of effort into coming and visiting, I'd probably just skip the soft open and come down when we're a little more established and everything is definitely stocked and everything, because there's a period of time where we're soft opening where we'll have beer and we'll have things, but also we need a little bit of time to brew everything, and so some of the things on tap will be like collaborations and things that we brew in other places and then keg and bring over instead of stuff that we've brewed in-house. And that's just like kind of the first month what that looks like. Yeah. Anyway. And then there's also always going to be rotating beers. There are actually 3 beers for the book release, since we're talking beer now. There's a oatmeal stout called it's hard to explain. There's a nitro. It's called Nitro, but it's an acronym, and it's something like nutritious yeast transfused racing oatmeal. I actually think it is, because it's featured in the adventure, and there's a beer powered construct, and so there's this oatmeal stout. That's the first beer. The second beer is actually one that Zach named because he wrote the second chapter, and we didn't have anyone collaborating on that one, because we did have some beer collaborators that paid to collaborate and have a recipe in the book. We didn't have one for chapter 2. And so based on some of the lore around it, Zach said, well, why don't we call it the Sun Dappled Bock, which is a bit of a play. There's another kind of beer called Doppelbock. I think I'm saying that right. This is just a bock, which is slightly different, but it's the Sun Dappled Bock, and it's a bit of a pun, and we loved it, and we made it. And so that one's very fun. I actually don't know the tasting notes on that one, because I'm a little unfamiliar with the type of beer, but it should be a little sunny. I don't know what I mean by that, but and then just to round it out, because we don't have a ton of IPAs, our third chapter beer is an IPA, and it's in world that we made kind of a joke about it, because IPA obviously stands for India Pale Ale, and a lot of it's there are a lot of kind of fanciful stories about why it's called that, and they're not right. So we there's a kingdom in our setting called Eloria, so we called it the Eloria Pale Ale, and kind of wrote a very similar tale, and then said but it's not true, as kind of an in-joke that beer brewers, when they read it, will get and will be tickled by. The Dappelbock is probably the one I'm most excited to try at the launch event. I think Zach spelled it right the second time, B-O-C-K. I think that's correct. And that said, we also have non-beer options. We just... Excuse me. We just obviously are a beer brewery. Tie-in beers. I don't know exactly what the rest of the menu looks like because that's outside of my purview, and it's been, you know, kind of debated and talked about a lot. But I know we're gonna have like a few cocktails, not a full bar, but a few cocktails, and then we'll have a lot of tropical juices that can be used to make sodas or shandies or things like that. I feel like we might have some cider as well, and I'll stop there because I don't want to say that we'll have something and then not have it. One of my favorite side characters in BoJack Horseman is the chicken Becca. Because that joke was very funny to me at the time. That's a great question. Thank you for asking, Zombie. We will not be open, unfortunately. Well, fortunately and unfortunately. The fortunate part is that we would have had to close the, you know, entire business for, you know, Zach and Bree's wedding anyway, because all of us are fucking going. And then Rose City is the day after, and yeah, as much as I wish we could, I would have loved to. I'm pretty disappointed that we can't, but we won't be open until October. Thank you for asking. Thank you very much for asking, because originally we thought we would be open by then. And then it took just a uncomfortable number of weeks to get like confirmation on a date when they would come do the thing. On the, I believe, Saturday the 23rd, we have a live show at 3 p.m. That's all I can tell you. It's gonna be, you know, if you've been to any of our live shows before, it's gonna be great. Yeah. I'm really glad that got mentioned, because yeah, we should come up with a new plan. And RGB honestly sounds pretty good, and it'll be kind of fun for, you know, if Law can just hang out and not work it. Yeah, right now they're painting the walls, I think, because they put in the flooring a little while ago, and I think they're painting the walls, at least upstairs. It's all coming together. Like, it looks like a real place now, just without, you know, furniture quite yet, but like it's wild, because just like a month ago, I feel like a month ago it was still just like open, like framing and stuff, but anyway, if anyone's on the fence, I think this year's live show is going to be a crowd pleaser. That's all I will say. I think if you're going to come to one, I think this would be a great one. I already made a bunch of terrible jokes on Law's last day. Like, y'all better be careful after 11 p.m. This place it's like the Purge. They're like, what do you mean? I'm like, because there's no law. I weirdly got a high five from Bree, and everyone else groaned. No, I think RGB is in good hands. I think Law really set them up for success in his absence. Like, he has somebody that succeeded him to kind of run some of that stuff. I wish them the best. I hope they do really well. Like, it makes all of us really sad anytime, like, pretty much any place closes. But I think they'll keep going strong. That's funny, Zombie. I could definitely see that. Yeah, sorry, Law. I mean, I probably should. I probably should get going, but we've just been steadily talking about different things. I say different things. We've been talking about two things. We talked about luck until I ran out of luck things, and then we talked about TPK. But yeah, no, it feels a little wild, because like we've only pre-sold things for Layfairs so far. We haven't done just like the normal booking that people will be able to do, which is just like you know, other campaigns, other games, other anything, like they can book it, we'll run it. Like we've only booked the Layfairs Chronicle, and we're up to 66 players. And you know, everything's booked through December. Some people bought longer already, but like just looking ahead at like the number of games and things, I'm like, god damn, like if I was running all of these games by myself, like I would be as busy as Max. Like, which is wild. So I'd like to think that you know, I'm perhaps the second most prolific game master in Portland at this point. It's wild how many games Max does, because that is his full-time job. But thankfully I'll have help. I'll have a small staff. Yeah, it's a little overwhelming, but at least since we wrapped like the editing portion of the book and have everything in layout, even though that's like delayed and stuff, like it's out of my hands and I feel a little less overwhelmed, which is good because there's still just like a ton to do in the planning for this campaign and everything. But yeah, no, I love doing this, and like I said, in the future I might be doing it less. I also think it would be kind of funny to just stream from from the brewery. We'll see. The more I think about it, the more it might be possible to do something on Mondays, as long as I do it like at work, because Tuesdays we're closed, but Mondays we don't book any games. So we'll see. No promises. I don't even know how that would work, but crossed my mind. No promises. Yeah, I mean, technically mine is probably more groups because I have like 12 groups, but Max, but mine are also like bi-weekly sessions, and Max, I think, runs like 5 or 6 games a week. Even though I think, well, I can't speak for Max. So yeah, it comes out to about the same number, but I think it's a little different. Right? I was joking about that today while we were hanging out and working. Anyway, we'll see. I also finally figured out my character for Dungeon City. I can't talk about it, but I figured it out, and that makes me happy. Finally had a minute to kind of sit down with Law and kind of figure out what direction would be fun. So yeah, no, I do have help. All the Layfairs right now is planned to be for the short term, planned to be run by me and one other person. And then eventually it's a little complicated. That one's kind of our flagship, our bread and butter, so we want to make sure that the quality is as top-notch as possible. So it's going to be like me and one other person who I trust. And then we're posting our game master, our regular game master job posting like this week, and then I'm going to start interviewing people for that. When I feel they're ready, I might, have them start running some of this stuff, but to start, they will pretty much run, have a hand in running all the other stuff that people book. Like intro sessions, one-shots, things that are not D&D, things like that. And a lot of it is also just, we need some time to just see what people, you know, if we put it out there, what people book and what people like, so that we can kind of make a plan for it. But yeah, I should take off too. Thank you for coming by, Zach. It's always a treat to have you, and everyone else. It was a pretty full week, pretty full audience this week, which makes me really happy because it's such a big episode in a small package. But I'm gonna take off too. Thank you all so much for coming and listening to me rant, and after listening to this episode, if you want to carry on any of these topics, feel free to bring it over to the LUQ Discord. Have a fantastic rest of your week, and until next time, we wish you luck.